What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Collect every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. As you can see, we got quite the Avengers level panel here this evening. Oh, nice, dude. It's me. It's me. That's me from I think 10th grade. That's when I had hair.
Wow.
Carlos and I were talking about that today, actually. Because Carlos was telling me that Riley has a receding hairline. And I was saying that that's not good at 19, right? For me, it was like 24 when I first started to get that. I was getting balding, recession. But as you can see there, for me in high school, full head of hair, dude. I had full head of hair till like 24. So that's about normal. Sucks. Yeah, it's about normal. You guys are blessed, all three of you.
Marco, let's see your hairline.
Well, my hairline's great, man. I'll also have to show you off camera, but my grandma had like a thick head of hair until the day she passed. So, the hair runs strong in my family.
See, that's what I thought too, Marco. But then my dad and everyone in my family has a full head of hair, but my brother and I balded. So I don't know how that happened.
That sucks.
So look at my mailman.
Random.
See, my shit started going a little bit more back and the other side too.
Yeah,
but I still have a lot of hair.
Yeah, you have a lot of hair, dude. It's thick too.
This is a little too sexy for this part of the day right now, Carlos.
I didn't realize I was going to get this hot.
And Ben, see, Ben has a full head of hair too. So
let's see it, Ben.
I just hide it under the hat. You know what I'm saying?
See, but you guys are blessed, man.
Do you have chest hair too?
No, I don't. I've got 3 chest hairs. I think Sean has named them at this point. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bad. So, dude, but I'm super white, super British. No hair there.
I'm white too, but honestly, I feel like I remember I had this discussion before. Shaving your chest, I do that because I feel like I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bit better, I feel. Why are you making that face, Carlos? Why are you making?
Because you have tiny pecs. What do you?
I don't have tiny pecs, bro.
See, more definition. I get it.
I'm is it for the ladies? I want to be like a Marvel superhero. So
Is it for the ladies?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Do you grow nipple hair too?
Around it, but you don't grow it on there. So.
Well, I'm saying, do you shave all of that too?
Yeah, you shave around it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So thank you to everyone who tuned in for this wonderful episode. Guys, let's address the panel real quick before we address the chat. Carlos, man, how are you doing this evening? How's the diecast collection?
Doing good. Doing pretty good. Got some clients, so I made more money. So that was nice. I didn't put up a figure. Typically, Becca picks one, but she's slacking right now. So I don't know. I didn't have a figure.
I'm gonna give her the buzzer.
Yep. But no, doing pretty good, man. Thank you for having me. I think it's going to be a fun one today, especially with Ben and Marco here. Well, at least with Ben. So I'm looking forward to it.
I thought Marco.
Get out of
here. 1 out of 2.
Yeah, man. But happy to have you here, Carlos. It'll be fun, man. And like I said, let's address the rest. I think I don't know if this is Marco's first time, but Ben, it's your first time on Lights, Camera, Collect, right?
First time on this option, yeah. And
nice, man. Well, thanks for joining.
Dude, when you send out the flare and say, do you want to join the channel? 100% I'm going to be on that show. So thanks for having me. Good to see you guys. Marco, I feel like I can't get rid of Marco. He's this good-looking shadow that's always with me, which I appreciate. So
like a symbiote, basically.
It's basically a symbiote.
Marco taught me the art of facial hair. So, I'm learning.
Goals.
I'm learning from him. So exactly.
I don't even have any.
Yeah, Carlos, you're kind of the weakest facial hair on this panel right now.
Fuck you.
It's borderline pubes, if I'm being honest.
Because Ben's is looking great, Marco's looking great.
Dude, I couldn't grow a lick of facial hair though until I was 33. So
really, 33.
33.
No,
yeah.
no, that's
old are you now?
Fine.
35.
So you made it
you don't
sound
look
like that was a
35,
long
Ben.
2 years.
Yeah, you look,
2 years, but this has taken 2 years. That's what I'm saying.
Marco, you really think mine looks like pubes?
No, I'm messing around, bro. It looks good. It looks good.
I know what
but
your
Will's, on the
look
other
like.
hand, looks great, honestly.
See?
Yeah,
well, because Carlos told me that I was fugly before I grew a beard, so.
You hate to hear
Carlos just loves to test everyone's boundaries,
bro.
right? He just throws things out to see if you'll flinch. But
he does. But happy to have you, Ben and Carlos, on the show. Marco, I know you've been on the channel, but is this the first time on Lights, Camera, Collect? I think it is, right?
I believe so. I think I was supposed to be on the other day, and we had a scheduling conflict. So, no, thank you for having me. I did say yes before I knew Carlos was going to be on, so I think in hindsight I would have. No, really looking forward to it. It's been a long work week, so looking forward to talking some figures with all my bros.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. So we're going to talk about all that cool stuff. But guys, let's address the chat real quick before we jump too far into the topics, but we'll get into them real quick. Maniac Collects channel members. Sup, Maniac Collects? Thanks so much, bro. Evening, everyone. Bruce Leon, ready for a Foxy and Friend talk explosion of radness. Dude, he always has the best one-liners, introductions about the show. Bruce, man, always respecting you, man. The collection number 1. What's up? Everyone's doing great. Yeah, man. Everyone's doing great here. Let's see, Seyful. Hello, all. Hello, Seyful. Ro Moreno, what's up? My statue brother in. What's up, man? I know he has the God of War statue, so I'm proud of him. Bruce Leon, it's a beautiful, fresh, rainy air Midwest Friday, so definitely. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Weather's starting to turn a little bit here, too. It's kind of feeling more like fall. So it's pretty nice. California always feels the same. So, I don't know how it is in Canada for Ben, but, it's
fucking cold.
It is actually getting cold already.
Is it
I had my
cold?
winter
Okay.
jacket on, smoking a joint last night. It was not pleasant.
Smoking a joint.
Well, I'm green friendly. It's legal in Canada. It's legal in Canada.
Is it legal in
everyone's
Canada?
so
Okay.
happy? Everyone's just high in Canada.
That's
why everyone's so
100%.
nice.
You can't be angry on the buzz. So
No, see, yeah, Ben,
there you go.
That's how
That
it
makes
works, man.
sense.
I didn't know that, Ben. That's funny. Let's see, Thalia Meyer. Hello and good evening, everyone. This stream has gone off the rails. G17 Collectibles. Hello, everyone. What's up, G17? Sean Bean, thanks so much. New channel member, Sean Beam or S. Beam. I always like to call him Sean Bean, but thanks so much, man. Hardcore Candy, what's up? What's up, Hardcore Candy? Luminara herself. Lumi. Good to see you, Luminara. Ro Moreno, Alvin J, channel member. What's up, Alvin J? Thanks so much, bro. Comic Swag, what's up, Comics? Frogman, Daimo of Dagobah. Is that how pronounced correctly? I think so. Lights, Camera, Collect.
Yeah.
Let's go. What's up, Frogman? Thanks, man. Tully, what's up, Tully? How's it going, man? Always love the Kylo saber in the background, or in the front, really, but loving that. The balding, Sean Bean's talking about on the grandpa on the mom side, from what I hear. Yeah, I've heard that too. My grandpa was balding. What'd you say?
My grandpa, I think he had a good amount of hair. Maybe that's why he still had it. Because my dad, dude, poor him. I mean, he wasn't as bad as you, Will. I don't think anyone is, but he was balding on 30s. So,
yeah. I didn't tell you guys that Carlos offered me a battle damage Thanos to grow my hair out for 3 months.
Dude.
So
I was like,
that might be worth it.
I don't know.
I was like,
man.
Will, I was like, I'll give you $250 for a battle damage Thanos to not let it grow or let it grow for 3 months. And he said no.
Can you wear a hat?
Yeah, I could, but not at work. I couldn't at work. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
business in
I
the
would never be
back.
able to pick up all the women, that I do now. So, Anyway, AJ Agarusa, happy Friday, Friday friends. Hope all is well. I'm just joking too about the women. It's not true. Calvin Williams II. What's up, fellas? What's up, Calvin? Fig Fate. What's going on, guys? Glad to be able to catch us live. Fig Fate, thanks so much. Let's see. It's a hat crew today. It really is. The only reason I'm wearing one is because I shaved my head the other day and I cut myself in 2 different places. So I've been wearing a hat to cover.
No.
Yeah, it's rough, Marco, because when you cut yourself, man, you bleed everywhere, and also like you have like a scab for like a month. So it's kind
Imagine if you were manscaping, dude. That's even
yeah.
worse.
I've never cut myself doing that, thankfully.
They should.
What were you gonna say, Ben?
I was gonna say they show like shaving a kiwi with that thing, and I'm like,
Oh my
I
God,
don't know. I don't
no.
trust it.
You're
Like, I'm
right.
natural.
I don't
I'm
trust
green.
it.
Ben's like, I'm green and natural. I don't do that stuff.
You're right, I don't do that. Let's say AJ said I've been successful so far this year. Good, man. Blurred Dad Life. What's up, Jonathan? Hey, everyone. Insane One. Hello. Baby Girl 707. Hi, friends. Hi, baby girl. Let's see. Lane Kramer. That sounds creepy when I say it that way. Hey, everyone. What's up, Lane? What's up, Lane? I saw a picture circulating of Lane today, actually, around a bunch of ladies. So, Lane, you got to explain that one to us. Leonardo Hernandez. Ben Thomas in the chat himself. What's up, Ben? Riley Reviews, Mr. Channel member. Riley, I think you have great hair, bro. So I just want to tell you that right off the bat.
Oh.
But yeah, Riley has great hair. And also I really, he needs to wake up earlier though. That's just a thing.
He wakes up at 11:30.
Yeah, he needs to wake up earlier.
11:30.
When you party as hard as he does though, I mean, I kind of get it.
That's true.
What, playing video games?
Exactly, bro.
World of Warcraft goes hard, huh?
I see the new releases from Riley almost first every time.
That's
they
true.
come out,
That's
so,
true.
'Cause he stays
2
up for
o'clock
it.
in the morning Instagrams. So.
Yeah. Ash Jace, what's up, Ash? Good to see you, man. Why is Carlos here? He's got rent to pay. Exactly. He does. Romero said, what statues does everyone have coming in? Hot Toys is dying. Hey, we'll see, Romero. We'll see. Brody Leon said, it's okay, guys. I'm here now. We can finally start. Exactly,
Nice.
Brody. Well, I'm happy you're here. So Tully's to hit the like button. I agree. And Trumbull's Dust said, let the man sleep. Nah, bro. We're keeping Riley up. We're going to keep his ass up.
I told him that his parents should charge him rent. If he's going to sleep that late, I was like, at least $250 a month.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They better do. They should charge his ass. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
why I moved out.
Yeah, right. See? There you go, Ben. Okay, so guys, let's start with Spider-Man. I've titled this one just tongue-in-cheek kind of Churro-Less Spider-Man because this is really like the, sort of Avengers campus. I think they called it the Web Spider-Man, I think. Yeah, let me pull it up exactly for the title. Yeah, Web of Spider-Man. So it's like they put it as a comic masterpiece. We don't know exactly what is going to be the deal in terms of whether this is going to come to the US or not. We really have no idea in terms of like what the offering is going to be and how available it's going to be. But we'll talk about that in a bit. I would be willing to bet Sideshow will get this eventually. It's not up as of the recording of this live stream. So with that said, I'm going to jump around a little bit. Marco, you first. Because I know what Carlos is going to say. So I want to hold him for a little bit. Because Carlos is predictable. But Marco, Churro-Less Spider-Man, bro. This web Spider-Man. What do you think about this? Like, are you happy that this is, going out to the masses? I think everything's the same minus a few accessories like the churro. So is this something you're going to be interested in? How do you feel about it?
Absolutely. So this is one that, obviously we're getting very fatigued by the recent Hot Toys announcements because we haven't seen something original in a while. This is one that kind of stood out for me because it's not original at all, but I still really want it. Going to Disneyland, going on this ride. Like, I love this iteration of the suit. I also don't have the Homecoming suit. So, this is one that I was kind of banking on coming to Sideshow. Now, I know we don't know whether it's coming or not, but I could bet on it. And I know we'll talk about that a bit more later. But I think overall, it's like a really cool release with or without the churro. And I think that, you could 3D print one or have someone 3D print it for you if you really wanted that. So I think that those limited accessories are, just whatever. They're kind of throwaway. That being said, I'm kind of glad that they're doing. I know Carlos is willing to pay $250 for a churro. So if anyone out there wants to sell that to him, but it's cool that they kind of had like exclusive accessories. But we all anticipated that this would drop for a wider release. So one that I'm really looking forward to getting in hand. Hopefully it's a bit cheaper without those additional accessories. I hadn't really seen pricing on it just yet, but yeah, I really like it overall, honestly, and I want to put the Tom Holland head sculpt on it, and I think it could be one to really shine. Last thing I will say, I'm really looking for them to release the suit from the end of No Way Home, and so that would be the only thing that would give me pause on adding this one, but I think overall it's a must-have for me personally, although it is, like I said, uninspired, but it's still a really cool release.
Yeah, and Marco, how do you feel about the idea of it being kind of like a D23 thing and then now it's kind of an exclusive, right? But it's like, it's going to be available probably, I would think. But are you good with that? Like, do you want anything to be exclusive, or you just kind of want the good figure?
So I actually came from the shoe game, right? Like, I used to collect sneakers, and it's so hard to get certain releases. It really is. Like, it's just discouraging sometimes. You'll wake up early and just not get it. And I love with Hot Toys that you can pretty much get just about anything you want. Aside from the older releases. So the fact that things aren't super exclusive for me isn't a downside. I think it's it's a big plus that I can, have this available. I will say I was on Reddit and I saw someone's post that said, I just spent $600 on this, F my life. And it's like, okay, well, we should all just anticipate that these exclusives are going to drop elsewhere, because exclusive really means nothing to them. Obviously, we've seen with the accessories that had like a little bit of a hint of truth, but I think it's just smarter to wait on this. I'm totally fine with them, with the word exclusive meaning nothing and having every figure available to everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I do think having it, overpaying for this type of thing is definitely not the wise move, because eventually it will be available in some way. Arena Boba Fett is like really the only one that I haven't seen become like readily available. That's like the only one really. We thought Mark 46 became available. I bet you that cap will probably become available for like
Cap's dropping any day now.
Yeah, Spooktacular or something, worst case. So yeah, but Carlos, I'm going to jump to you before I go to Ben on this one. Carlos, about this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Did you already buy this or no?
No.
Okay. Are you going to get it?
So I only wanted this because of the churro. I've said that a few times. I don't want it 3D printed. All right. I don't want to get no bootleg shit. All right. If I was going to get bootleg stuff, I would just go third party. You know what I mean? Sorry if you own third party. It's great. So I only wanted the churro. I asked Riley for 25. He said no. I was willing to go to 40, but he really wasn't willing to work with me. So I'm Churro-Less right now, literally. So I won't be picking this up. Couple things. One, I obviously collect all the Iron Man. Yes, that's me, except the neon tech stuff, like the MCU Iron Man. And it's funny because I put all the Iron Man in a row, like 7 of them. And I told Becca, I was like, can you tell them apart? And she goes like, they all look the same. And I was like, how dare you? Right? Like they all look unique.
And then said the same exact thing.
See? Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Riley put a photo of this dude and other ones. And I was like, I see it now, because I like Spider-Man, but he's not like, I don't need every single Spider-Man. and they'll kind of look the same. But if you're a huge fan and obviously you pick this up or whatever, as far as someone spending $600, that kind of sucks. But that goes back to my point that I was saying that if it's within your budget, we always talk about, are you that person who wants it now? And if you happen to have a budget where it's just you throw away money, so you're being a little reckless, and so be it. Or are you the kind of person that's willing to stretch your budget, right? So then you could have gotten this for a lot less. So yeah. With that being said, I guess it's up to everyone. But no, I won't pick this up. I just want the accessory. You know what I'm actually looking for? If anybody wants to reach out, the
I'm scared.
What's her name? No, it's the what's the stupid Captain Marvel, the deluxe. She comes with a pussycat. So I want the cat. So if anybody wants to sell me their pussy, I will totally buy it. So
demonetization straight off the bat.
It's a cat.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet.
I asked. No, I'm being serious. There's a cat. If anybody wants to sell
me, it has a name,
the
doesn't it? I forget the name.
I don't know.
Is it like a Flerken? Is that the
name?
Yeah, the one that scratched Nick Fury.
If anybody wants to just sell me the cat, I'll buy it for $50. If anybody wants to just
you could probably find one on eBay for that.
Dude, no, I haven't found one. That's what I'm saying. 40, maybe $40.
Well, you could buy Captain Marvel for like $150 probably. So you could and then sell the figure.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I just want to buy the cat. Like it's just easier if I just.
Can you make a post on the buy sell trade group so I can put the laughing emoji at you, please?
Yeah, I know. Right? Just the cat. I want the Captain Marvel cat.
That's why I get laughed at all the time.
Yeah. But Ben, so with this one, with the Spider-Man figure, man, is this something that interests you? Like, did this surprise you at all? What are your overall thoughts on it?
So I had to second look at this morning when it was added to our show sheet again, because I was like, didn't we literally just talk about this last week? And then I realized that the only thing that seemed to be missing was the churro. And then I immediately thought about all the people who did go out and spend $600 or $700 to get this locked in. Like, that must make this one accessory one of the most expensive accessories for certain people of like all Hot Toys time. Like, I can't even think of another figure that's come with an accessory that seems to be so fiery. Like, can you guys, like, if you can, I'm like, I couldn't peg one. And so, like, to me, the figure is pretty cool. I will give it that. But as you guys can see behind me, I try to be as strategic as possible with my collection and not have too many figures per shelf. Like, I want it to be figures and characters that really like mean something to me. And as cool as I think this looks, I don't have any real like connection to this at all. I'd rather save my Spider-Man dollars for the upcoming Tobey Maguire that's still kind of overpriced, but I have that connection to him. Or even the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man that's coming. Again, similar red and blue suit type. I can see for people who think that all Spider-Mans look the same, that they may still argue that with those guys, but I would definitely see the difference because of that nostalgia factor in those releases. So for this guy, I don't think it would be something that comes to my collection. The other thing is, even though the sweater and the bag are cool, I think it would be weird to display him with the sweater. I probably would never put it on. So then it would just be an accessory that sticks in the box.
And you know what I want to do with that? I want to make like my own Peter Parker with the backpack and the sweater.
That's
I don't know how
a
like
great
it would
idea.
look, but yeah, I think it would be kind of a cool piece to have as a standalone.
Yeah,
and Kid Bash kind of guy.
Not normally, honestly. So I was kind of asking more veteran collectors, like, what body should I use? Like, what kits should I go after?
I'm not a big Kid Bash guy either. Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of work, honestly.
Who are these veteran collectors?
Well, I don't want to name any names. But.
Yeah, we got to ask the veterans, dude. But I do say, I do feel like I do like this suit. I mean, it's very similar to the tech suit, the one from Homecoming and from Civil War. It's very close to that. Like, the spider's bigger, really. And there's a couple changes here and there, but it has that vibe / feel to it, right?
You have yours, right?
This suit. What'd you say?
You have your tech suit?
Yeah, I have it. I got the movie promo one from Far From Home. Yeah.
You still have it? I thought you sold it.
No, I have that one. Yeah, because that's my favorite Spidey suit. I still love that one the most. So it's funny when that first showed though, when they showed it on the trailer for Civil War with Spider-Man holding the shield, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that suit. Right? It was a little bit like the spider logo was smaller, but then I really came to love it. And to me, like, I'm with you guys, and like what Ben said resonated with me about being selective, because for me, I got to have like an emotional attachment to the figure. Like, to me, this is from Avengers Campus, which I've not been to. If I have been, maybe I'd feel a little bit different. But, for me, it's more so like that's why I really want, I think Marco was saying the final suit from Tom Holland for No Way Home, right? That one I would much rather have, just because of the journey he went through in that film. What'd you say, Carlos?
So the movie was bad anyway. I don't know.
No, it wasn't, bro. Get out of here.
It was an 8.3 at best.
That's good, though. 8.3 is good. So, you know, it's, I'd give it like a 9.5 or 9. So
Stop.
Yeah, it's good, man. But I'm excited. I think Andrew should be dropping soon, so we'll see, right? And we already got Toby up for pre-order, so yeah, it should be fun. Guys, we got to talk about something. What were we going to say, Ben?
One more thing to add there, Will, just quick, is that I think one of the challenges with the Spider-Man, especially lately, is just that we don't know the rules anymore. And I think that's something that Marco says often too, right? Like, I think if we knew the rules and knew that if an exclusive was actually an exclusive, people might be willing to spend the extra dollars and try and get it for their collection, right? They might be those folks that can't miss on a release. But because we don't know the rules, and then sometimes they come, sometimes they don't, we think it's going to, we're kind of back and forth, and then people spend too much money to get it in hand, and then it does come to Sideshow, it just pisses collectors off. Which, at this cost of a figure, which I guess we don't know yet, but even still, most of these figures have been slowly escalating in price. It makes me need to be a little bit more selective in order to even consider them.
So you're speaking like rules, like if we're gonna get these exclusives or not.
Yeah, like if it's a DX25 D20, what's it called? D25?
D23, yeah, D23.
D23. If that's the release type, then that's where it should stay. If this is a Hong Kong release specifically, then that's where it should stay. And if they're going to, like, we've even said it about DX releases, you know, right? Like, what's a DX release to people anymore? You know, there's the deluxe, the DX, soon there's going to be the double DX, like
double D.
Like, right, we've kind of lost track of what the rules are, and so it makes it hard for people like us to even, not that we're selling people on figures, but let's be honest, when we're standing here being hyped about these figures, it definitely sells the product. When we're sitting here kind of confused, telling people maybe you should wait and save your money, that's not helping the collectors necessarily with their decision to purchase. So
it's all about communication from Hot Toys or Sideshow, though, right? Like, if they let us know what was going on, but it's not their style. So.
No, but I think it's kind of obvious, though, right? Like, hey, at this point, we've seen it countless times now. Like, there is no such thing as an exclusive. You know what I mean? So, like, I think the rule is pretty simple. It's like, we're gonna get everything. It just, like, at the end of the day, you're just gonna miss out on a churro. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably like, and,
which is a big fucking deal. So
yeah, you know what I mean? So
$200.
That's what it feels like. That's the rule. Like, hey, you're gonna even like, see, my thing was this, like, if the Mark 46 wouldn't have, does it look like I'm lagging when I'm speaking?
No, you're good. You're probably lagging on your end.
Stroking out.
Oh, nice. So like the Mark 46, I'm like, someone said, hey, that one is a Hong Kong exclusive. We're never gonna get it. Same thing with the Stormtrooper. Same thing with the Captain America, right? We're never going to get those, right? This specific YouTuber said we're never going to get them, and sure enough, we got them. So much so, the Mark 46, you can even get it on a 15%, 20% discount. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. It just feels like the rules are, we're going to get everything because Hot Toys is not of the old. It's mass produced, and we'll see. You know, like we keep talking about small batches here and there, but then it's like it might be small, but we're still going to get a chance of it.
Yeah, you'll get a chance. Yeah,
we'll get a chance here in the U.S. So that's what it feels like.
I can see why you can say that confidently, but it would only take one for that to not be the case, where people would come after you with torches, though, because they'd be like, "But like we thought that it was going to be everyone."
Well, no, right? Because Arena Boba Fett, I told Aries, I was like, I wasn't supposed to name his name, but yeah, anyways, I told Aries, I was like, hey, this is gonna come back in stock, and he's like, it's gone forever, baby. I was like, no, it's not, baby. It's not gonna be gone forever. And sure enough, there was like, 4 times the wait list it converted. So like, it's gonna convert. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Interesting. Well, it may be a small batch. I still think you get a chance, especially if the demand is there. You know what I mean? So maybe if this was like a Morbius or some stupid shit, then maybe not. But like a Spider-Man, I think it's gonna be available everywhere. Iron Man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Ben, what's your favorite figure? What's your favorite character?
My favorite, the Dark Knight probably would be mine.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, Dark Knight.
Like, there you go. What about you, Marco? Is it Wonder Woman?
Golden Wonder Woman specifically. No, I'm a Batman guy. So
see,
either Christian Bale or other Batman.
Yeah. So like, we're always gonna get access to those. So,
but they've reissued Batman a few times. So I mean, they've
exactly.
remade rather.
And sorry, I should specify the Dark Knight franchise. I would say that Heath Ledger is probably my
that
favorite
in art
actor of all time. And I've got the 2-pack coming, so I'm like, please be good.
I know, please be good. Please
nice.
be good.
Look at you. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, Ben, though, that like I said, I got the artist edition Joker statue from Queen. Really, really good.
Yeah, me and Will really like the Dark Knight. We always knew we like people from Canada, Ben. There
we go.
The Dark Knight is incredible, man. But I'm with you guys because we're going to talk more about that topic about exclusives and what it really means. That's actually going to be next on the docket after we talk about Carlos's favorite, the Neon Tech Iron Man with Gantry, because this is very interesting, right? And this is clearly, it doesn't seem like it's for our market. Sideshow is probably going to order like 15 of these because they're not going to be able to sell them. So they're probably going to be like, yeah, we're going to get like 15 of these because, nobody's going to buy this shit. This is like the spooktacular 40% off sale, right? Where like this thing ends up being like maybe $600 or $700 or even more, right? And then people are like, I'm not paying $700 for a Neon Tech Iron Man with a Gantry, with a neon Gantry. And while it looks cool, it's kind of more of a niche type thing, right? It's a more specialized kind of niche, Iron Man completionist type of figure, I feel like. So I'll jump to actually Ben first on this one. So Ben, with this Neon Tech Iron Man, what do you feel in general about this? I mean, I'm not like, I know there were some pitchforks out there saying that like, oh, this is bullshit. And, Hot Toys only does X, Y, and Z. Like, I get it. This is not the release that everyone really wanted to see. This is not one in the US that we're that excited about. But clearly, it's made abundantly clear time and time again that Iron Man prints money for Hot Toys. So they're going to keep making it, whether it's Neon Tech or otherwise. We're not going to buy it, but people, I guess, in Asia are going to buy it. And there's going to be some collectors that go for this. So what do you think overall? Do you think this was like necessary? What are your overall thoughts on it?
I think if I was going to collect the Neon Tech line, I would have wanted something that looks different from what we've got in the past, right? Because we've had this blue color in the past before, I believe, right? And so for me, I would want it to be like a different color neon if that was going to be the case. I think it looks cool. And I think if you're new to the hobby and you're like, a Neon Tech figure in my collection could be pretty sweet. Like, this is a really cool looking setup. Do we have a cost on this one yet? I missed that.
Not that I've seen, no, because it's not on Sideshow or anything yet. So
right, and like I said earlier, with some of these escalating costs, it's forced people, especially myself, to even be more strategic than I even was previously. Right, like, Iron Man has never been a cheap figure to begin with, let's be honest. But, years ago when I got my Mark 7, it was a much lower cost then. Now, like, for me to get into Iron Man, I'm thinking there's several other options that I'd want to have on my shelf instead. I think it's, we always hope that Hot Toys is listening to our streams. But sometimes I see examples like this and I'm like, I don't know if they really are. Because, like, I feel like all of us lately have been like, we're kind of done with Iron Man, but just the Neon Tech line, right?
Ben, they heard you. They just didn't give a shit. That's all.
Or they just didn't give a shit because they make the money and I don't, right? And that's the big thing.
Batman.
I think, right? I think, Will, you nailed it, right? I think it comes down to this will always print money for them. And there's been some speculation that maybe Hot Toys isn't doing so well. Maybe they do need these injections of cash in order to satisfy some of these other pre-orders that they've committed to. So, like, is this a reason we're seeing it now? Maybe. Otherwise, it's not for me. I don't think I'll have this in my collection.
Yeah. This shot's pretty cool, though. I got to say, this...
It's very cool looking.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool looking. But I'm going to take Carlos last on this one. Marco, what are your overall thoughts on this one? I'm willing to bet we're probably mostly in accord, all four of us on this one. But what do you think, man?
I don't want to pile on too much on this release because I think in a bubble it is completely fine. Like you said, this shot actually looks kind of cool. Yeah. I like the gantry, like maybe not as much as a 1/6 churro, but it's up there in terms of cool accessories. But that being said, when you kind of look at all the Hot Toys announcements as of late, I used the word earlier, just so uninspired that it's just like they've done nothing recently to get us very excited. And so this is just another one to add to the pile. Like, okay, like Ben was speculating, like maybe they do actually need a cash injection. Maybe they're just going for the quick and easy releases, which doesn't inspire a lot of faith moving forward, whether that's true, speculation or reality. But it's just a kind of scary times right now to be a Hot Toys collector, because there's so many figures that we want, and then they end up giving us this, which again is not for us necessarily. Maybe it's for other markets or other collectors. But just give me the Catwoman. We could list many figures that we would want ahead of this. So in that sense, it just hurts when you kind of look at it in the larger picture. And I'm really hoping Hot Toys kind of gets the ship turned around and kind of gives us some cool announcements that are unique, and we can see that they're putting the effort. The figure that everyone keeps pointing back to is the Wolverine, right? The Days of Future Past Wolverine. That kind of gave us everything we wanted: a cool character, cool innovation, and then I haven't really seen something like that since. So really waiting for something to get us all excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's a great thoughts from both of you guys, seriously. And I want to share Seyful's comment real quick, because he raised an interesting point that I think maybe all of us are kind of hinting at and maybe beating around the bush about. But Neon Tech is easy money for Hot Toys, little to no R&D. There's a market for it. Overall, probably funds their R&D for figures we actually care about a lot easier. That could be. It could be.
Well said.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you guys make valid points. Like, it's so difficult to say whether Hot Toys is like struggling financially. I don't think so, because I think they're making enough volume here that they're probably okay. I think they're doing fine probably. But the Iron Man, I think honestly, I'd be willing to bet that it's just as simple as this is Iron Man, and no matter what they make Iron Man version, it's gonna sell. Like, it's not going to sell to us in the States. We don't really care about this, but there's probably not the market for this figure anyway. This could be one, honestly, like I said, Sideshow might order 15, or they might not take it at all. Sideshow might just be like, nah, we're not taking this, because it's going to take up space in our warehouse. No one's going to buy it. We're going to have to discount it. Like, they might just not get this one. This might be an exclusive to Sideshow, just like, yeah, we'll pass, right? But Captain America or Mark 46 or, things like that, or the Churro Spider-Man, they'll be like, okay, we'll take some of those, right? But I think there might be a little more selective moving forward. But Carlos, man, I know you're the Iron Man collector, but this is, if I'm willing to bet, probably not going to be for you, right?
No. So I'm not a big fan of getting variant figures. Actually, let me rewind. I used to get annoyed by what Hot Toys was releasing, right? Like if it was a Neon Tech or an Arena Boba Fett, just didn't make a lot of sense. But I've come to realize Hot Toys does a lot of weird stuff, and I no longer get annoyed by it. I'm just like, oh, well, it is what it is. Move on to the next day, or move on to the next release or announcement or whatever. I just don't really care anymore. Come to realize about Hot Toys. I'm not a fan of there being variants just to be a variant. I used to collect the Neon Tech line because I wanted every Iron Man. And then I realized I don't really care for every Iron Man, just the MCU ones, right? So that's one. Two, obviously there's no more exclusives. We just talked about this, but this I agree with, I forget who said the comment, Seiful, I think it was. I don't think they're broke. It's just that I still think these are smaller batches, but if you look at the Batman, if you look at the Neon Tech, if you look at Mark 46, it just feels like they're repurposing them, right? Like the Mark 5 probably made a ton. This one here was actually going pretty high in the secondary market on eBay. They're probably doing a smaller batch for it. I mean, all they're doing is repainting. If anything, they're saving money. I mean, they're just repainting this dude black. It's one color.
Isn't that exactly what a broke company would do, though?
No, not necessarily. Sometimes they just, Hot Toys is just Hot Toys. You know what I mean? Like, they've been doing this for a while. It just sounds like they're doing that more, or maybe just trying to capitalize on it. I don't know. I wouldn't say they would be broke, though, because look, okay, let's talk about the being broke. One, they're in China, right? Like, what is this costing them to make? Like
probably nothing.
$10. Yeah,
they already have the molds for each of these.
Yeah, not only that, but let's be honest. Like, what does an average Hong Kong person make? Like $300 a month or something like that, right? Like they're getting paid pennies. Like, the reality is, I don't think they're gonna be broke of a figure they're making a buttload of money on. So I don't think that'll be broke from that. So that's one. And at the end, right? I don't like. Yeah, exactly. They're opening Shanghai stores. Come on, Marco, be better. Get
out of here, guys.
And then you look at other things like I'm not a big fan of reissues. I've always said a reissue should be 5 to 7 years after the figure has been released, not announced, right? I think that gives everyone enough time. And even 2.0s, but that seems to not be the case. So that's why I'm no longer mad at these kind of things. And at the end, look, we're all into Hot Toys because we like it. And if you're into value and exclusivity and all of that, hey, this is probably not for you. And it gives the collectors, like, we might not be happy, but other collectors are going to be happy about this, right? Because they're going to be like, hey, we finally get a chance of getting this Neon Tech. Because, like, again, these are going pretty pricey on eBay. and I know I sound like a noob for comparing eBay as opposed to the Facebook groups, but that's the reality. You know, you get it like $600 or so, because I know I sold one for that. So yeah, I'm not gonna get it. You know, I don't really care if it released, because I no longer care about this stuff. If it's for me, it is, and if it's not, then it's for someone else. If it sits, then it sits, right? Yeah. So that's what I have to say about this pointless.
And Carlos,
release.
On the broke speculation, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Obviously, we're all just speculating, but I will say I've known plenty of broke people that had nice cars and, you know, flashed a lot of fancy things. So the Shanghai store, you know, could just be one of those. But I'm just messing around.
I mean, to people. I mean, I get what you're saying.
It's different when it comes to opening a store. You'd have to have some assets that you can leverage against that.
And besides, like, let's say that Hot Toys was to be broke and they go out of business, right? That just means our stuff is just going to even be more valuable, not from a monetary standpoint, but from us of being like, we're never going to sell this ever again. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, maybe that means InArt gets the license and they start making everything in real leather and stuff. Maybe that's what it means, you know? So
yeah, maybe. Well, Party Animal asked a really good question I want to ask you guys real quick. So do you think if Hot Toys had an official storefront in the U.S. like Secret Base or Toy Sapiens in Japan, it would boost their sales? I feel people would be more tempted when seeing the figs in person.
Nope.
I would say yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen because Sideshow wants to have control of that.
I don't think it would. Well, I mean, yeah, but it wouldn't work, right? Because like, I mean, if they come to California, like, dude, people are getting paid like $15 minimum wage out here. You know what I mean? They're going to be paid $20 per hour, you know what I mean? So no, I don't think it would work for them to come out here. Too expensive.
Well, in Canada, since we don't have Sideshow Collectibles here or anything that's like a Canada-based distributor, most places here are brick-and-mortar stores, comic book stores that have the occasional Hot Toys in their collection. There's only one store in Calgary, Alberta here that has like multiple, and they sit for sometimes weeks and months because they're still really high price, and it's hard for the store to make any money on the figure, because if they mark it up in order to make money, then it's way overinflated in terms of what you could get it for on the secondary potentially. So it's hard for them to stock them, and then in which case they just kind of don't most of them just don't justify it at this point.
And that's kind of what's even going on here, right? A lot of like comic book stores or, you know, mom and pop shops, they're not really trying to stock a lot of Hot Toys because it's like everything's kind of sitting. So it'll be the same thing at the end, I guess. So
yeah, I get it. Yeah, definitely great thoughts on that one, guys. Like I said, it's a very, you know, I don't know. The Neon Tech is, like I said, a lot of people I think do have their pitchforks out about it, but to me, it's just kind of like, I think it's just par for the course. Like we've come to expect it. They're going to keep making Iron Man figures. I mean, it's like, and RDJ has been gone for a while, and they're going to keep making them.
I just feel like if you're going to be mad about a release, okay, so there's two things, right? One, I've come to realize not to be mad about these things because it's just collecting. It's not that serious. Right. But if you're like, well, you can have an argument of like, well, if they keep announcing things, the figures that I've already bought, they're going to be pushed back even further. True, but that also applies to if they announce a figure that you want. It's the same concept there, right? So let's be even throughout. Because then, which one do you want? You know,
I mean, they announced Battle Damage Vader, and that, you know, adds to the docket. Or Cad Bane, right? So yeah, absolutely. But guys, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, expecting exclusives to come to Sideshow, because I want to pull this up real quick, and I wanted to share this before the stream actually, but there were a couple exclusives that came recently, right? There was the Mark 46, and now they have the Stormtrooper, the Chrome version, right? So that one as well. So I'm wondering, like, is the exclusive thing really going to be something that matters? I mean, like we all kind of talked about, I think we've maybe all explained this a little bit, but the exclusive tag to Hot Toys really means nothing. I don't think anything, Hot Toys is just not an exclusive company. Like, it's just not what it is. It's not numbered, and it's not going to be numbered or really limited, right? It's like as open as you want it to be. You always, like Marco said, you always have an opportunity to get what you want, which is great, because I'm glad people are getting the opportunities to get things. Because I know, like you guys talk about the sneaker game, I know how hard it is to, or how annoying it is rather to get something that you want and you just can't get it. I mean, it can be frustrating. Like if you logged on well before, you waited online for the drop and it was spinning and you couldn't get what you wanted. That does suck, right? If you win, you roll the dice and you won and you got it, then it feels even better. But it's not a fun process. So, Carlos, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah.
Should we expect like kind of all these exclusives to come to Sideshow? Is this something that we should just, expect to see in the US as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like with Hot Toys, you can't say everything's a certain, 100% effect. So I would assume the most will be, because I think the last one or one of the ones was an Iron Man Chrome, Midas 21, Mark 21 Chrome, or Gold Chrome, and that was only for Shanghai, and it's super expensive. But aside from those, or like they had silly things back in 2008 and a chocolate store version. It was just like the base were different. I don't think we're gonna see many exclusives because this was actually a Shanghai only, and look, it's available, right? Even discounted. So I think we're gonna get all the exclusives, man. I don't think that exclusives really matter because Hot Toys has never came out and said, and hey, we're never gonna reissue unless we can make this significantly better, right? I know InArt has, but we've yet to see something from them. But Hot Toys has never came out and said that. So I think there's no such thing as exclusives. Sideshow's going to get everything, if not almost everything. You might miss one, but you're not going to miss many, right? I wouldn't think so. So yeah, I mean, like the Arena Boba Fett's a perfect example. Like, hey, if it isn't exclusives, maybe you do jump on it a little bit faster, but it should still be available for Sideshow. So you can still pretty much get it. You know what I mean? I just don't see, like, because the Stormtrooper, if I'm not mistaken, they only made 150 for the Shanghai store, 300 for Captain America, and 1,500 for this one. So if Sideshow is getting this trooper that had 150, fuck, we're gonna get everything. You know what I mean? So, it might be small batch, but we're gonna get everything. Like 150 is nothing. You know what I mean? Because you're right, they're not numbered. They're not some super exclusive thing that's going to go up in value, at least not now. So, yeah, man, I think we're all going to get an opportunity majority of the time, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, makes sense. What do you think, Ben? Do you think that we're going to expect all Sideshow or, all these exclusives to come to Sideshow, like the Cap stealth suit? We got the Spider-Man with the churro or without the churro, things like that. Are we expecting to see all those on Sideshow, you think?
I honestly do. It's hard to say 100%, of course, but I think proof is in the pudding, right? We can learn from the history we've already seen. These releases keep coming, it seems like, and again, it's only going to take one for it to really upset the community of collectors. But I don't think, why would they shy away from that money? I think if Hot Toys wanted to be exclusive, they should convert to a numbered system. Otherwise, they should just make it mass available for everybody and get as much of the money back out of that, return on investment as humanly possible. And so yeah. I think we will slowly see them all come. I think the reason we see them so delayed sometimes is to create a little bit of that FOMO. I mean, Sideshow literally had a banner on their website the other day addressing FOMO. I can't remember what it said exactly, but it was like, that's like, clearly they recognize that that's a thing with 6-scale collectors and all collectors, let's be honest, not just 6-scale, but why would they, that's why they'll stagger those releases. But ultimately, I think we will get them because they're not going to want to miss out on that coin. So it's unfortunate because, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I think just not knowing the rules, we can only assume the rules, but assumptions can still bite you in the ass. I think what you should take away from this is buy what you truly want for your collection. Don't buy it because we all think it's going to be exclusive or we think it's going to be the next thing that might skyrocket in value and all these things. So many figures end up in the bargain bin now, quoting Marco's channel. So if that's the case, don't do it based on that. Don't do it based on a label. Buy it because you want it for your collection and it's going to mean something to you. And just be cool with it if other people get a chance to get it, because these are not numbered collections. If you want that, there are statues, there are other avenues that you can follow where you'll get more of that exclusivity. I think they should drop the name. I think if anything, it just helps these figures trend on the internet more than anything. Because at this
marketing term, Ben.
Yeah,
that's it.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in accord with you guys on this one. Marco, how do you feel? Are you in line kind of with the rest of us, or you have something different you feel?
No, I completely agree. And I think our big takeaway should be, and I completely agree with all the points everyone has said, but just patience, right? Just really don't rush into buying something on the secondary market because you think it may be exclusive. Yeah, you may get burnt like the Arena Boba Fett, but we did have kind of the window where it dropped. And So if you were waiting on a deeper discount, that's probably where you would get burned. But and even then, I don't think it's going for insane money on the secondary market now. So if you miss out, you still probably have an opportunity to pick it up for not crazy over the price. What is this, Johnny Blaze that you're showing?
That Ghost Rider.
And that Ghost Rider.
That's awesome.
It's Ghost Rider. I just bought it.
That's awesome, man.
Because we were talking about buying in the secondary market. I just bought this fucker. So
nice.
Very,
it's
very
not
cool,
MC.
man.
No peels or anything.
So
no, only in the crotch.
yeah. All right, so Marco, go ahead.
But no, all good. But yeah, I think we should just anticipate that all these are going to drop. We're going to see that Cap. We're going to see this Spider-Man, because as Ben was kind of alluding to, or not alluding, he said flat out, Hot Toys wants to keep that money in their pocket. So if a figure goes super rare and then goes to $1,500 on the secondary market, like the Mark 47 was, they want to get that money back. So they're going to, find a way to ensure that as much of the profit is coming to them and not into the secondary market.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do say, though, I do want to say to people that, like, before the Iron Man actually popped up on Sideshow, I was actually anti-believing that they were going to, because I thought it was going to be an exclusive thing. So I was wrong on that one, because I legitimately thought that the US was probably not going to get these. I thought it was going to be like a Shanghai exclusive type thing. Hot Toys was trying something a little bit different. And then the second that Mark 46 popped up on Sideshow, I was like, well, there's your sign. That's it, right? And that means we should never really expect Hot Toys to be exclusive until they show us something different. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great that everyone gets an opportunity at the things they want.
It's less stressful though, right?
Yeah, even with InArt, like you still get a window. It's exclusive, but you get a window to pre-order, right? Like you have every chance to get the figure you want. I mean, it's,
I feel like I don't want Hot Toys to ever be numbered, but I would want them to do a hard set window. Here's what we're making, plus 5% more, right? If there's 5% more, just a small amount more. And that's all we're making. And I think that'll be nice. It still gives you that, hey, is this a chase figure? I have to get it. And it's still kind of hold nice little value. It's nice. You know what I mean? It's not going to get super, and you don't feel stressed out. You know what I mean? Like I have to stay up at 1 in the morning to order this or something like that.
Well, that's what I kind of like about the game toys, like Final Fantasy figures. Like you get like 2 weeks to pre-order it, and then like it becomes rare after that. So
yeah, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
And if you happen to join a little late, then you're gonna have to spend a little more money on it. So
yeah,
but then you still get that experience though with a pre-order, where then it's not the same quality that you thought it might be, right?
Sure.
Or vice versa. I mean, like if you'd pre-ordered that Peacemaker when it first was announced, it had a massive improvement for the next one that we saw. Whereas I know a lot of people were really still upset with their cable, right? That they pre-ordered the cable, they waited for years for it, they finally got it in hand, and they were disappointed by it. And I think with those limited releases, or like those timed releases, I should say, that might bite them in the ass more than you think.
Here's the thing I'll say to that. Yeah, it's true that what was the first example you used? Not cable. You used
the Peacemaker that started low and went high.
Yeah, so let's say
quality
Peacemaker.
wise.
I think that's one of those where they can say, hey, we're going to reopen the pre-order window because it was upgraded. It's new. Okay, let's reopen it for a couple weeks. But the cable, look, man, you can have. I like Iron Man a ton, and I feel like even if I really like that character, he can be fugly. I'm still gonna stick. I'm still gonna keep it. Like Will has Last of Us figures that look like he got them from Walmart, and he still loves those dudes.
Nah, bro.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if someone really loved Cable, they may not really care too much about it. You know what I mean? I think the pre-order window would make it where it's like, you know what? I really love Cable, so I need to pre-order this. You know what I mean? As opposed to just pre-ordering for that hype. So it's gonna make you think. Because it's a locked-in window and stuff. You know what I mean?
No. Forgive me for saying though, because I know you've mentioned that in the past you do relatively well financially. Is that your feeling because you have money in the bank? I'm thinking that would not be my feeling if I'm at my. Not to say you should buy Hot Toys if you only have $300 left in the bank, but like, let's be honest, a lot of people do, right? Like that is their fun money for potentially 6 months. Like it's crazy. So you do put a pre-order in and then you get it and it's not what you wanted it or expected it to be. That could be devastating for certain people. And then at that point, we have whole live stream panels worth of people talking about how terrible this looks. Then good luck even getting some money back for it, right? And
so I guess if you buy it from Sideshow, you can just return it if you really don't like it.
Can you? I've never returned.
Yeah, they give you 30 days because I had Moff Gideon and I returned it. I think the only thing I ate was shipping.
Thank goodness.
Shipping.
Yeah, you just pay the
that
return
resolves
shipping.
that concern for me at least.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So if you don't like
30
it,
days.
So at that point, if you're like, okay, well, my retailer does not accept returns, like, actually, I'm not going to name a retailer that you mean, but a retailer that's not Sideshow. But let's say Sideshow, they do, then if it sucks, you can just return it. So there's
if you're in the States, obviously.
Right. Yeah, if you're not in the States.
Because, I mean, by the time I get into Canada, I've paid the freaking customs fee even,
Right. Sideshow's more.
I'm not getting any of that back.
Yeah. It does suck.
Sure.
It definitely does. But no, I mean, even if I do have, I've been blessed with more than I deserve, for sure. But I still have a pretty strict budget to it. You know what I mean? It just feels like if it sucks, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest, just because it feels like
it's hard.
If you end up getting that figure and you pre-order it to begin with, and you were limited where you only have $300 to spend every 6 months, I don't even think you should be collecting to begin with. But if you were collecting, then if you said, I'm going to use this $300 for this cable because I fucking love cable, you may not actually care. It's like when Tony Stank came out, I didn't like the head sculpt, but I really didn't care because I love Iron Man. So if you're limited on budget and cable is your guy, he's going to be your guy regardless, because more than likely you probably went and picked up that third party anyways. And that didn't look that good to begin with.
I kind of view it similar to Ben, though, where, whether you have money in the bank or not, because they're so expensive, I find every little reason to not buy one. So if any little imperfection, I'm like, okay, that's it. It's not for me. I can, write that off, because there's so many good ones that I want. So like, I am just so picky when it comes to hot toys.
So even if your favorite character didn't come out the best, like whatever that may be, Dark Knight or Joke, whatever it is, even if it wasn't completely perfect, you wouldn't oversee it just because he's your favorite
depends.
character.
There's definitely a gray area there, but if it was like egregious enough, I would be like, I don't need this one. I can just wait until they reissue it or do a 2.0 or 3.0 or another company does it. So yeah, for me, I try to find any little reason to not have to add it to the collection.
Yeah. I mean, Optical made a good point though here, right? Imagine if InArt sucks and you paid $1,000. So
yeah. That's why there's a lot of pressure with all these InArt figures.
I'm crossing all my fingers and toes at this point. Let's
because if that one sucks,
there is definitely a reality where it comes out, it's terrible, and you've got to comb the hair when you get it, and I will be crying into my.
I guess if you're collecting a $300 doll, I don't really feel bad for you. You can afford a $300 figure, you know what I mean?
For sure. I guess the only other thing then that I would say is if there was a timed window, because I actually do like the idea of that as well. Like, pushback aside, I do think it's a good idea. It's just that then I would want them to start numbering their collections as well. Because if there's a limited time window, then number them also. Like, give them that next level exclusivity. Because otherwise they're shooting themselves in the foot for that trickle in money that they get for however long after pre-orders come down, right? So,
and Blitzer is a really good question. He was saying maybe the Shanghai exclusive, they didn't sell out and then Sideshow got those. Could be.
I mean, what was it? Steven's Collectibles, they got a lot of the figures that were Sideshow exclusive, so you can only buy them from Sideshow because they weren't doing well. Sideshow gave them some of those, like the armor, and then like the Cyborg Spider-Man. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it could be Blitz is a good question, but guys, great thoughts on that one. I want to ask there's something else about Sideshow moving forward, because this I think is affecting everyone, right? This is something that is really changing the game for collecting, right?
So this Justin.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's also affecting anyone who was doing day one reviews. I mean, anyone, period. Justin's just the most prominent, but I would say anyone who was doing day one reviews, this affects you if you're not in the States, especially. But I mean, and also for all those people like, who were buying not from Sideshow because in their country, Sideshow's too expensive. Like at the import costs and the shipping fees, say like Ben lived in Canada, right? Like if he was buying from a reseller by chance, I don't know if you are, Ben, but that could be something that people do, right? If you lived in the Philippines or something and you needed to buy from a reseller, like you're not getting them as quick as you used to. It's not that way anymore. So, I want to know kind of what you guys think on what this means for collecting moving forward, especially for us in the States. And Ben, in Canada, you're pretty close to us, not too far. So, so I'll start actually with a Marco on this one. Marco, what do you think this means? Like for Sideshow, say Sideshow continues this first batch thing. Sideshow's getting them before everybody, right? What does that mean? I mean, is that going to mean things for Toys Wonderland and people who buy from resellers? I know there's a lot of implications there to pursue, but just whatever you think is worth pursuing.
Absolutely. No, I think this really changes the game, honestly. And I'm not super confident that this is the way it's going to be moving forward. I think we've seen kind of Sideshow try this with various figures before in the past where it's like, okay, they had it a lot quicker and then it kind of went back to business as usual with other releases. So I'm not sure that this will be 100% the trend, but we shall see. So I'll just speak what it means to me personally, and I'll let the other guys talk about maybe the broader market. But for me, I kind of loved the rhythm of Hot Toys and how they were released. I'm okay with waiting. And obviously this is like a typical collector mindset because they give us our figure potentially faster and now I'm complaining. But I kind of like that it was released in Hong Kong first. We got to see the blogger photos. That was kind of our first bit of evidence, whether the figure was good or not. And then we got to see the other, influencers that get it in hand from Hong Kong. Then they would review and you'd kind of really get to determine, okay, well, I've got a few months now or, even a few weeks sometimes, but a little while until I have to determine whether I want the figure or not, or if I need to do something about my NRD. So I liked that, you could collect a lot of data and you could be really analytical about every release. It just was a perfect flow for me personally. But now it's kind of like people are getting it without blogger photos, without in-hand reviews. And that is kind of a scary future for me personally, because it's like, okay, well, I may end up, like Ben was saying, with a cable that wasn't necessarily up to my standards. Then I've got to figure out, do I return it? It's just a whole different headache now, where things are being shipped a bit more blindly. So yeah, I think it is kind of scary for me personally, but for those people that really want their figures as quickly as possible, I think it could be really positive. So it's definitely a catch-22, but a bit of a scary future for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting time because we've always been used to the opposite. We've always been used to the Mando coming 4 months after Hong Kong and Captain America Endgame and such like that. So Ben, what do you think, man, with the Sideshow first batch? Do you purchase from Sideshow in Canada or do you get somewhere else or?
No, Sideshow is usually kind of my main
Gotcha.
because it feels the safest for us over here, honestly. If you're wanting new, and the customer service side is still really good. They still service Canada really well. You just have to factor in those customs, right, and the extra shipping. So it is what it is. Yeah. But I think Marco nailed it. I was listening to you and Kiko talk last week, and I thought it was funny when Kiko was like, it pisses me off when I'm not like when I see something that's cool and I don't have it in my collection. Like I want it today. I don't want it in a month from now, right? And I thought that resonated because I know that there are a lot of collectors out there like that. For me, I feel like this is one of the reasons Marco and I clearly get along so well because I feel like I call myself almost like a nervous collector. Like I have the money to spend, but I don't really want to spend it until I'm 100% sure that I'm going to like it. I think, businesses like Toys Wonderland, this is just like cutting them off at the waist because I felt like that was one of the only advantages they really had for me to ever really go to their website and take the risk of getting from overseas, that I might get the figure that I've been waiting for first, maybe. But even then, paying that extra dollar amount, I found it hard to justify. So I'm the type of collector that I do like those blogger photos, and I like seeing Justin's collection review, and I like hearing some of us talk a little bit about it first, and then when I get it in hand, I feel more confident just in my purchase. Because otherwise I start to second guess it, and I'm the worst for that. Like my fiance, I'll talk her ear off sometimes about whether or not I should buy something. And, I got snow tires for my Challenger a couple years ago, and I talked about snow tires like every single day for a year because I just ruminated about this purchase, even though it's like just something I needed. This is something that I want, not something that I need. So I'm not willing to gamble with my money. I don't like gambling. I don't really necessarily care about first batch Sideshow. If I cared, I would be happy that Sideshow has it though, because again, I confidently buy from them over probably any distributor when it comes to Hot Toys.
Yeah. Like I said, that safety is always nice. You're paying a little bit extra, 100%. But you get that safety. So Carlos, what do you think this means? Like, what does this mean, just in totality and, with the market and collectors?
Yeah. So, as Marco pointed out, there's always pros and cons to everything. Yes, you're going to get it early. You're right. You're probably not going to get, blogger photos, or maybe it just means you're not getting blogger photos now. It doesn't mean that's always going to be that way. But at least, I'll rather have Sideshow get this first, right? So that we could, obviously keeping as much business here, as opposed to going, overseas. And that's really going to kill, Toys Wonderland. And I'm not the biggest fan of them. Obviously sometimes they do some crazy discounts and it's a 50-50 chance whether you're ever going to get that figure. But for me, I like, Sideshow getting first batch. I think it's going to mean more people who are impatient, right? Who want this figure first and darn the cost. Hey, you're going to pay more. That's just the way it's always been for anything, not just figures in general. So if, at least now you can go through a US retailer like Sideshow and get good customer service. So that's great. That also means that as of right now, because nothing is selling out, it also means that you're going to be that first person who is going to try it out, right? And again, with really anything, if you're that person who goes and get those shoes or cars, whatever it may be, you're going to try it out and you're going to be the first one to say whether it's good or not.
So all eyes on Vizcardo Kid at this point. He's the first line of defense right now. So
yeah, exactly, right. If you don't want to be that person, then that's fine. At the end of the day, for me, it's just a figure, a toy. I'm gonna like it, and it's fine. Some are going to be more particular. That's okay too. You can wait, do whatever you think is best for you. You know what I mean? I know Kiko. I know he's more impatient, so he'll get this super fast. I'll just wait for Kiko or, like you said, Beskar or other people to get it and see what they have to do. At the end of the day, if it's a figure that I wanted, like I said earlier, I don't think I'm going to care too much about, him looking too skinny like a Cable or the head sculpt not looking good on an Iron Man. If a figure I really want, I'm probably not really going to care too much. It's like if Loki comes out looking okay, Will's probably still going to get it. I don't think he's going to care too much at the end of the day.
I'll put the helmet on him.
Yeah, he'll put the helmet on. You know what I mean? It's just at the end, we're going to get that figure, and if we like it, we like it. And yeah, but I think this is going to be good for Sideshow. I'm all for it. Again, if collectors are going to get first batch, I'd rather have them go with a US distributor, obviously, than overseas. So
yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from on this one. So yeah, a lot of great thoughts on that one. Like I said, it's going to change things if they continue it. So we'll see, and see how this goes. It has implications for the market and for collectors everywhere, I feel like. But guys, display. And I want to share something real quick. I just pulled it up about 15 seconds ago. Ben did a collection tour. So I feel like I have to share this because Ben's collection is looking nice. For one,
that's awesome.
Fucking video games. Look at that. Look at that. That's a collection right there. But I mean, like,
you have your,
what were you going to say, Carlos?
Are your snow tires in there too? Did you show them off?
Dude.
The snow tires are in the mechanical room right
Even
next to the
Legos.
Hot Toys
Look
boxes.
at
That's hilarious.
That's clean. But like Ben, but I'll start with you, Ben, on this one, like investing in your display, because I want to show just kind of like your setup here, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is like, this is really clean. That's what I think all of us as collectors are going for. Something that looks classy and clean. Like Marco is really clean too. Carlos' kitchen looks pretty clean. So, we got a lot going on here, right? So I would say, Ben, how do you feel about investing heavily in display? Do you feel like it's a really important, or not even just money, but time and money into your display to make it look clean? How important is that to you?
It's super important to me, for sure. I had this debate with myself once again when I upgraded my lights from just standard light strips in the back to the Philips Hue lights. Those light strips are crazy expensive, and the bulbs are crazy expensive. But for me, it helped me kind of like amp up the aesthetic of the collection. I'm in a unique position where I am able to afford some Hot Toys every year, but I don't have some of the extensive collections like some collectors out there have, where cases like Modu cases are actually needed, not just a collection choice. I think investing in your collection to make your collection look like it has value, not only monetarily but also value to you, right? I want people to come down and be blown away by the room, not be like, oh, like you just collect toys and they're kind of just on kind of dusty shelves. Like for me anyways, that's important that it's clean. Now, if you saw the rest of my house, you'd also see that we're just crazy clean folks. So nice. It kind of extends through the house, but I think it's very, very important. And as your collection grows and changes and evolves, so will that display, right? I'm getting to the point now where with these cubes that you guys see in the back left there, as much as I like these Kallax shelves, I'm very limited by their size. They're only 12 inches tall. So any figures like the Venom I have literally can't even display in this setup. So it's still limited. I'm still thinking about what's next. And does that mean Modu cases that are lit like some of the collectors we see, or Billy bookcases from IKEA where they're a little taller, I can change the shelves up and have otherwise still a pretty similar aesthetic. So definitely think it's important. But if it doesn't really matter to what we think. I'm blown away that you guys like what I have set up. But there are some people who do have their figures just on a dusty shelf and they still think that that's the coolest display in their house. And that's okay too. It's your display. It's not anybody else's. Appreciate it for you and for your space of life. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, there's a lot of great options for display and it should be personal to you. Yeah. You want to make it look as good as you can. And with that said, I'm going to Marco's now, but I couldn't find a collection tour. So all I found was a lighting update display from like a long time ago. But Marco, how do you feel about this? Because you're a DTOF guy. DTOFs are great. Dude, that is super clean behind you. Like I said, that's the biggest thing to me. Right now, I just moved back recently, so mine's a little bit scattered. But Marco, how important is it to you, man, to invest the time and just the money into display like that?
Yeah, so for me, I completely agree with everything Ben said, right? I think he and I look at the collection really similar ways. We're agreeing way too much, man. It's kind of gross, but anyways.
you guys been around each other too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Symbiote. You're my Venom. I'm your Eddie Brock. Don't worry about it.
Let's go.
So you were inside each other?
Wow.
More of like a rest on top, you know?
Yeah.
So, maybe because I'm self-conscious about collecting these dolls, like I feel like I need to elevate them to like be more art pieces, and the display and the lighting really does that, right? So I know it's tough when you're like, man, I could put that money towards another figure or another few figures, but it really is worth the investment because under the proper lighting, these figures take on a whole new shine to them, right? Like you see details that you never saw before. So I would say it's absolutely crucial to invest in it. So I am a DTOF guy. I did order some Modgy cases like I was telling you all backstage. So those will go on the opposite wall. This room isn't very big, but I will kind of show you guys. So people have been asking for a collection tour. I'm going to show you kind of a bootleg collection tour really quick because I don't think a lot of people realize that I have this as well. Dude. So I just got this set up the other day. So you know what? This is another way to display them with the Billy bookshelves, but I'm all about the LED strips as well. So really, really love this setup as well. So let me stop this so I can return my camera.
That looks real clean though.
Thank you.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Like so it just kind of it kind of elevates things in my mind if you can display it properly. And so I think it's definitely worth the investment. Don't go crazy on it. Like just spend as much as you can, but lighting, those LED strips, you can get them for like $12 on Amazon. So it doesn't take too much to have a nice display, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like I said, there's a lot of good options out there. So, I mean, DTOFs, Modgy case, customs, like Ben said with the shelves, like you can do a lot of cool shit with some creativity. So, I mean, like look at Carlos's kitchen. It looks great, man. It looks very well decorated. So Carlos, what do you think, man? I know you and I have recently invested in some Modgy cases. So, I mean, I just dropped a lot of money on Modgy cases. So they're going to take a while to get here. I know yours are coming a little bit sooner, but how important is display to you overall?
So I would say invest in your display if it's for you, right? I don't really give a rat's ass about people's opinions on my display, right? Like people can come here and I have an Iron Man statue next to my a big ass half scale next to my couch, my living room, and my parents would come in and be like, "Oh, like, why do you have an Iron Man there?" Because I fucking want to, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, because I can. So I do stuff for me, you know what I mean? So if a display is important to you, that's great. If you want to entertain other people, then that's cool too. You know what I mean? Like my Modgy cases, I'm gonna get them, and bike Modgy cases, they're better than everything that's being shown right now because they are. So Modgy cases,
there's room for both, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Nope, only Modgy cases. So get Modgy cases. I'm gonna have mine in my room, and I have quite amount of figures right now, and you'll never probably see them because I buy my stuff for me. You know what I mean? So it's my display for me. I don't really care if people see it. If all I want people to see. That's a really
healthy attitude, Carlos, by the way, because this is for us, and it shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Carlos never had a healthy attitude, so
dude, yeah.
First time for everything.
Yeah, so that's how I look at it, because my figures I have some in my other room. I have some like, I don't know, maybe like 30 figures or 40 figures underneath my TV, and I have them everywhere. Like, just whatever, I have like this fucker here next to me, you know what I mean? So it's just whatever I want. And that's how I look at things. Lighting is cool. It looks really nice. Ben, you have a a lovely setup, Marco, you're getting there, well, but at the end of the day, it's whatever it fits you. For me, look, I'm glad that the community is accepting enough where I don't have to showcase my display, and I can just showcase my pots and pans, and everyone still, we make fun about it. But at the end of the day, I don't want someone to feel like you need a super cool display to feel like you're part of the community, because I'm the example that you don't need to. So if you're going to invest, it's for you. And if that means you want to entertain people, then that's cool too. So that's how I am, though. I'm very much like that. I don't really, dude, I'll go to fancy restaurants with like sandals, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Like, that's just how I am. So anyways.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. So great thoughts all around, guys, on that one. Like I said, there's a lot of great display options out there. So, I mean, it's really cool. It'll take your display to the next level. But like Carlos and Marco and Ben all said, it really should be personal to you. At the end of the day, what you think looks good is what matters, right? You want it to look as clean to other people as well, especially like Marco said, like there's always a little bit of that stigma, right? There's always a little bit of that hesitation. You're like, oh, I have a figure collection. And people are like, what do you mean? Like, is this like dolls or, what exactly, right? So you want it to make it look as high end as possible. You know what I mean, Marco?
If that's what you're after, but I think you're right. Don't try to please other people. But I have persuaded folks that were, giving me a hard time, and they've come over and they're like, wow, these are actually really cool and not what I thought. But at the end of the day, it's just about how you feel.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. Exactly. But you want it to look good, but absolutely. Okay. Final question of the evening. Small savings, because I know we've talked about this a lot on this channel. I know with you guys and other people on other channels I've talked about, like, waiting for figures and not pre-ordering nowadays and getting a small savings. And there's always a very interesting dialogue, I think, that happens from, I guess, both sides of the aisle, right? Where you get the people who are like, well, if I have to wait 3 months and I'm going to get 10% off, why would I wait if I really want the figure? I'll just buy it. Like, I'll just pay the extra 25, 30 bucks, whatever, right? 40 bucks. So I want to address your guys' thoughts on this one about, is a small savings worth a wait? Is patience truly a virtue in collecting? Is it something that, we can wait on and get really good deals? And even if we don't get a great deal, is a small small win worth it in the long term? And, even in the interim, right? Is it worth it? And I threw in the paying in full thing in there a little bit because I had mentioned before that Carlos kind of converted me on that. I used to be very much a pay in full guy. I used to pay the shop in full, right? I'll give my brief opinion on this one and I'll throw it to you guys. But I used to pay in full. But then Carlos kind of talked to me a little bit about this, and I was like, you raise a really good point, right? If you need to cancel a pre-order and you paid in full, it's a lot more difficult for the shop to pay you back your full amount, right? Than as if you paid an NRD, maybe you can convince the shop to give you store credit or give you that NRD back. But if they're trying to give you everything back, then you probably ain't getting that NRD, right? So that's kind of gives you a little bit of leverage. And also, what if the shop goes out of business, right? Like you only paid your NRD instead of paying whatever the full cost was. So you're mitigating your risk. What Carlos had told me, and I'll give him full credit for this one. I'm sure other people have done it maybe before him. But I mean, I created a separate account that I would pay myself in. So like I would put the NRD down on the figure and then take the rest of the amount that I would owe for the figure and put it in a separate account that I will not touch. And then that figure is paid off technically, right? So I like that idea a lot more nowadays. I'm with Carlos on that one. I think that was a really good idea, one of his good ideas. But, I will say, do you guys think small savings are worth it? Like, is it, because we talk about patience, right? Some people like it fast. Like Kiko doesn't really feel that way, right? Kiko's impatient. He wants it fast, right? So what would you guys say about this one? So Carlos, I'll actually start with you again. Small savings. What do you think? Is this worth it? Like, say you only get 10% and you had to wait a couple months. Is that worth it to you?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, 10% or more, or whatever it may be, it's going to always be worth it. I'm not the collector that
Optical's comment.
So I'm not the collector that's super rushed to get something. I'll wait for a discount. I've always been that way because for the most part, I want to say like 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to make my monthly budget stretch as far as I can. Sometimes I'm impatient and I will want to get that specific figure right away just because I'm unsure. Like the Mark 46, thankfully I basically got it for retail, but the new one, because I thought it would never come to the US. It had been some time, so I got it and I used my money. Now I could have gotten it a little cheaper, but it's fine, right? I typically don't do that anyway. So yeah, for me, I will say I will wait for as long as I have to wait. I'm not the person that I'm worried about if this thing is going to go up in value, meaning like what it's going to be worth 6 months from now or a year. But what I am worried about is the purchase price. How can I make my budget? If I can buy with $500 a month, can I buy, instead of buying 2 figures, can I buy 3 or can I buy 4 if I just wait and wait and wait? I'm not the person who needs the figure right now. I've never really been that way. I'm really good at being patient. Like when I started my business, I was making literally like a couple $100 a month for like almost a year and a half before I blew up. So I'm super patient because I see the end goal to things. And this kind of how I see it is I'll stretch my budget as much as I can. And I'm super patient with things. So 10% more, whatever it is, I'm not the person typically who's going to say, I want this right now. So I'm willing to wait whatever amount. Like the Infinity War Thanos, I wanted it for a long time. But, eventually it was super cheap on Sideshow. So I ended up going that route. So I got it like, couple years later. And I was fine. Like I lived through it. You know what I mean? Some people have to have it right now. So I guess it depends on individual collecting, philosophy or strategies, whatever it may be. So that's typically how that, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're, I mean, I'm assuming you're with me on the pay in full thing because you're the one who told me about it. So,
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, the way I do it is that any statue that comes out, I'll pay the NRD, and literally that same day, I'll take the remaining amount plus what I think shipping will be, and I'll throw it on my savings account that I have just for collectibles. So it's technically paid off, right? And that's what I do for anything that I pre-order. So everything is always paid off. And for my budget, because I do budget every month. It's just that, again, because I've been blessed, thankfully, I do have a bigger budget, but I also won't typically exceed it. So I'll just save for a couple months for like a half scale, or then like a life size or something like that. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. And you call Amex. Yeah, call Amex and you're good. So, yeah, man, chargeback. So, but Ben, what do you think, man, about this topic? Is it worth a small savings to you? What about paying in full? Like, I know sometimes these topics can get a little tough for people because they don't, we don't want to bog down, but I think it is important just to talk about these at least in brief, passing.
For sure. So I think it kind of goes back to my strategic collecting, right? If I know 100% that I want this figure, unquestionably it needs to come to my collection, then if I have the money to pay in full, I have done that before. Other times I have figures that I know that I really want, and I'll just put it on a payment plan so that it's still kind of slowly pays off over time by the time it comes out, right? Or something along those lines. Where it's bit me in the past, in terms of at least waiting, was on that Peacemaker recently from Sideshow. I honestly didn't really think that pre-order was going to sell out. I really didn't. I figured it would hit in stock, and then it would stay on stock for a little while, maybe get a 20% discount or 10% discount on Sideshow, at some point down the line. And at that point, I would pick them up. Because it hasn't happened that way, now I'm thinking, okay, well, like, damn, like I did want that. I just was kind of banking on getting a little bit of savings. And now, in the meantime, I've missed out. Now, that's not to say that it's either not going to come back to Sideshow or something along those lines, right? In Canada, the benefit here, at least, is that the secondary market is quite plentiful when it comes to hot toys. And a lot of people do buy based on FOMO and then clearly sell at a loss here. And that saves us the shipping costs, of course, and the conversion across, I should say what do they call it? Consignment. I can't remember what it's called, but the crossing of the border cost, whatever that is called, right? So we're lucky that way, that if there's a figure that you have missed on, there's likely going to be somebody around anyways that's selling it and will be willing to ship it. So overall, just to kind of answer your question, Will, I would say for me, it is worth still the small savings that I get for it, because I'm not a day one reviewer, any of those types of things. It's not my YouTube channel. Even like it doesn't matter to me. I'd rather get a little bit of money saved and see how people thought of it and some in-hand options before I've spent the full bang for my buck.
Yeah, and sometimes you get major savings like this, right?
Yeah,
the Mando
literally.
arm. So yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome, man. And I know like Pop Culture still has like Battle Damage Thanos for $250 right now shipped. I mean, they have like, Rescue for $200. Sometimes you get major savings, not just small, but
I bought a Rescue for $170 from Pop Culture.
Yeah, $170. Yeah, that was a $400 figure. $400 figure, yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So Marco, what about you on this one, man? How do you feel about this with small savings, or paying in full? Do you kind of like the waiting game, or do you feel like you need things early?
So let me address the paying in full really quick, because I have a real world example that I'm kind of suffering from. So I would say, just do it really sparingly. If you're getting a great discount, let's say you're getting 20% off, maybe it's worth looking into. But for me, I think there's just too many variables. So I pre-ordered a Batman Superman, the Nightmare 2-pack from Toys Buying Agent. Now I pre-ordered second batch. I paid in full, and I think I got it for $485 shipped. So at the time I thought like, oh, this is incredible, right? Like compared to what Sideshow, I think it's $520 after you add on the shipping and tax. I was like, I'm making out at this point. Recently from another local retailer, I would have been able to get it for like $478, and I still don't have mine in hand because all the rules have changed, and I've already paid in full, so I can't really get my refund from them necessarily. So you kind of get locked in if you're paying all the way. So I say use that tactic very sparingly. Ben mentioned payment plans. Also the PayPal Pay in 4, which Will, I know you've talked about before, is kind of a strategy that I will use if I'm not quite ready to ante up the entire amount of the figure. I'll just kind of like, push it out every 2 weeks for 4 payments. Now, in terms of small savings, I am all about the discounts. Like I just give me all the discounts, because that just means normally more figures that I can add to the collection. You were talking about Pop Culture. I had to pull the trigger on the Iron Patriot. I think I got him for $244 shipped.
Wow.
Which I think he's like $470 right on Sideshow.
Right, you got a basic 50% off.
Yeah, like 50% off. I was like, it's a figure that I kind of want, don't necessarily need, but for that price, I felt like I can't say no anymore. And I wouldn't be shocked to see him go even lower during Black Friday or any of the upcoming sales, because they have so many of those. So yeah, I am all about the coupons and about waiting if you can. Now the game is changing, so you might not always have the option. So if there's a figure that I'm afraid I may miss out on, I find local retailers where I'm not paying any shipping and not paying any tax, and I will lock in a pre-order there if it's a figure that I feel like I personally cannot miss out on. And then obviously the danger is it may drop even lower, and that happened with Moff Gideon. I was like, okay, well, I'm locking in Moff Gideon, but he's going crazy low in Hong Kong, so it's always a catch-22. But you try to balance as much as you can, and I try to save as much as I can.
Yeah. Wouldn't you be able to just look at Sideshow and see like, oh, like if the pre-order, like if it's saying like low stock or whatnot, or almost sold out?
Well, for me, I don't necessarily like to go to Sideshow because they're going to charge me shipping and tax. So I like to avoid those. True. And so those smaller retailers will sell out quicker. And so there's always that, but you can see how many they have left on a few of them. So sometimes I'll wait till I have like 1 or 2 left, and I'm like, okay, now is the time to pull the trigger. Yeah. But you really got to be on top of it, right? It's like it's not a not stressful thing to have to like be on top of all this. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And a small savings to me would be like this. I mean, $50 is not nothing, but say Alter Ego selling the tumbler for $575, right? Like that's $50. It's not nothing, but it's like, under 10%, right? That's a small enough saving to make it worth your while. But for the people who waited, I'm sure you'd be pretty happy, right? Because you saved money. That's, say you save $60, right? That's a big, that's maybe like a fourth of a figure nowadays, or a fifth, right? $300 for an average figure. I mean, the more you do that, the more figures you can get. So simple math there. So,
and for me personally, I look at the figures differently. If I got them on discount, I'm like, dang, I kind of like you a bit more because you're cheaper.
Yeah, like you lower the bar, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. I
guess everyone's just different, right? Like if you want that figure now, and like, hey, like I'm buying this for $400 or $300. And this is going to be worth $200 if I wait. And if you don't care, then you don't care. I mean, like if you were going to use that money, what was it? To go back and forth.
Yeah, I'm pretty indecisive.
That totally happens to me all the time too.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end, right? If you're saying, okay, well, I want to buy this, I guess it depends on everyone. Because then, what is that much? Like, for example, for me, I'm going to use that money to eat out or buy video games or do other stupid shit that I'm never going to get my money back regardless. So I guess it depends. How does this fit in your budget? Like, is this your throwaway money? If it is, I guess it goes back to that question. Do you care about stretching it or do you not? Right. Because then
if this is your throwaway money, I'd love to be your friend. I'd love to travel with you. So hit me up on that.
Right.
I mean, my budget isn't that big. It's
it's not that big. It's not that big. But I mean, the small savings are worth it. So to me, I mean, if you have the patience to wait, I mean, for example, I think I told you guys maybe on other streams too, like back in September of last year, I bought the first batch Endgame Loki from Toys Wonderland. It was like the last order I had with them. And I tried canceling it, but they only offered me store credit. So I was like, I don't want any more credit with you. I just fulfill this last order and we're done, right? But now I'm pretty confident that first batch is not going to be Toys Wonderland. It's actually going to be Sideshow. So it kind of puts me in a spot because that Loki I really do want, kind of early too. Like I do kind of want that, right? So it's going to be an interesting predicament. Like if people start getting their shipping notices for Loki, I mean, I don't know. Like Carlos and you guys said, I can wait. Like, I mean, it's, I can, if people get theirs, I can find someone who gets it in stock and I'll just buy it or something, but.
So you need to wait 2 more months for a figure.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then by that time, it might already be 15% off. That's the tough
right.
part.
Because Sideshow will probably have it in stock by that point. Right. So, I mean, at that point, I mean, Toys Wonderland, I might take their store credit and then just take it and buy something else there, and then just get the Loki from Sideshow or something, like I might just do that. So, I could. So, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting thoughts, guys. Like I said, it's a ever-changing landscape, right? So, yeah, absolutely. Optimus said they offered store credit on Toys Wonderland instead of a refund. What a shocker. Exactly, bro. Exactly. But guys, we're going to wrap it there. Carlos, is there anything you want to share about your upcoming channel, dude?
Oh yeah, my channel. No, not yet. I mean, I want to, right? For unfiltered collecting, which means FUC. So I kind of want to still do that, but not really, So, no, I mean, I don't know. I've thought about it. I'm still working on that project you and I were talking about, but I've just been super busy with clients and stuff. So yeah, nothing new coming up. Just going to be on your show on Sunday and, talk more figures. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining, man. It was a blast as always. And you had a couple good ideas in there. So, it's all good, man. So, but Ben, thanks for joining, man. First time on Lights Camera Collects. This was a blast to have you. And what's coming up on your channel?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was a really, really good time. Great way to bring in a weekend, to be honest, right? Like now I feel all amped up and I want to go to look at more figures.
See, that's what we do here.
Right? It's the way she goes. So for me at the Ben Thomas Show, definitely check it out if you get an opportunity. I talk about kind of everything that I think is cool. It's the reason I called it the Ben Thomas Show and not like 6 scale related or anything. It's if I think it's cool and I want it in my collection room, it'll be here. That includes these NECA turtles that I just recently got. I do a lot of toy store tours and comic book store tours and hunts, which has been really, really fun and generated lots of really great feedback with the community. It's cool to kind of connect with everybody after they see your videos, right? So, and then lately I've become what feels kind of like the resident 1/6 X06 Star Trek discussion member on Collecting Weekly every Tuesday night. There is
that a punishment, Ben? What did you do in the previous life?
Yeah,
I'm not really sure, but no, I love talking Star Trek, and surprisingly, it seems like it's a relatively untapped discussion market for 1/6 collectors. So if you like Star Trek, you like toy tours, or you just like talking about cool shit with me, come over and check out the Ben Thomas Show, or catch me over at Collecting Weekly on Tuesday nights.
Who do you talk
occasionally with Marco?
Who do you talk to about for Star Trek? Is there a lot of collectors?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that end up reaching out to me for sure. Anthony is one guy that I've been meaning to actually stream with. He's invited me a bunch of times, and I've just never been able to seem to get my schedule on track with the guy. But at some point, I'll jump on with him for sure. But it's usually my videos that like I talk either Star Trek news or the X06 figures that are coming out, and they seem to generate still like tons of views. Clearly, there's a lot of interest for those.
There's a lot of fans out there.
And then it ends up generating some really crazy awesome discussions in the comment sections. So love Star Trek fans. They're good folks.
Yeah, grandparents are good. They're always interactive.
Grandparents are badass people.
I told Anthony, I was like, I want the J.J. Abrams film figures, and he was like, nobody wants those, bro. I was like, yeah, just me. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of J.J. Abrams because I like the sequels too. So for me, but I like the Star Trek films. I don't like the newer one as much that he didn't do. I didn't like
Discovery.
That one. Yeah, I didn't like that one that much. It was okay.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I liked Into Darkness a lot, which I know diehard Star Trek fans really don't like, but I
bought the what is that stupid name? The Star Trek the company who made that ship. I forget the name of the company.
I don't know. Not Eagle Moss.
I don't know, but they made a diecast one, and it was like a Kickstarter and stuff, so it was all diecast of the SS.
I forget what the company name is now.
Yeah. Anyways, but
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining, Ben. Happy to have you on, man, for the first time, and I'm sure you'll be back soon, hopefully.
100%.
So, yeah.
100%.
Marco, dude, thanks for joining first time on Lights Camera Collect. I know you've been on Collectors Mingle a bunch, but thanks for joining, man. And what's coming up on 1/6 Fix?
First of all, Will, thank you for having me. Always a great time to stream with you and Ben and Carlos. Well,
with his pubic hair on his face. So.
With his great hair. Oh my gosh.
Not that bad.
Your head hair makes up for it, so you're good.
Yeah,
Carlos.
exactly.
But so yeah, we got a lot of cool streams coming up tomorrow morning. So 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing Bargain Bin Bros on Joao's channel. So go check us out at Big Bretta. It should be a fun stream. He's got the best thumbnail. He literally put a bunch of hot toys in a shopping cart. I guess it's a Chinese shopping cart because ours don't look like that here, but it's hilarious. So should have a pretty good time. Come have your breakfast and your coffee with us tomorrow. Tonight, we will be on P-Rock's channel for LWO. So, P-Rock just hit 1,000 subscribers, so we'll be kind of celebrating over there. So should be a really good time. If you don't know, you don't know. Sorry, Carlos. And hoping to do a Bargain Bin Bro stream on my channel next week. And then we're going on vacation for a little bit, so a bit of a hiatus. But thank you for having me. And go check us out over at 1/6 Fix if you haven't already.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining, man. And Optical's right. Carlos is flexing his hairline. So.
Dude, I have to. It's the only thing I have.
This is a great hairline channel here with this panel. I'm the only one that doesn't have it. So, you guys, very proud of all three of you. So.
Marco, how old are you?
I'd rather not say, but I will be 35 this year. So getting up there in age.
You're 35, Marco?
I will be 35 this year, which is crazy.
Look 35.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you were definitely younger than me because I'm 31. So,
you're just a lot more mature than I am, Will.
You look like someone who just had their first girlfriend. Like that's how young you look.
Basically.
Nah, bro. He's not that young. He's not, he's not like Riley young. But,
do I look like a Harry Potter fan? Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, Carlos loves
way.
Harry Potter, so it's all good. So,
Dude.
Carlos and Leo.
I love face markings.
Yeah, Iron Man tattoo.
Gigi and I are about to restart our annual Harry Potter rewatch, so that's one of our favorites. And
that's cool, man.
So we enjoy that too.
What house are you?
I'm a Slytherin for sure, man. I'm a scoundrel.
Nice. Yeah. It's funny because I'm going to end on this note because then this is probably going to give me a lot of controversy. I feel like women tend to like Harry Potter more. I feel like, I just noticed that. Like not to say there aren't men who love Harry Potter. Men love Harry Potter, but I feel like when the more people, I see more fans that are women. It's kind of like guys with Avengers, right? Like women love Avengers. There's a lot of women who love Marvel, but guys tend to draw towards that genre a little bit more. And I feel like the Harry Potter genre, for some reason or another, I don't know, tends to appeal a little more to women, but like guys love it too. I mean,
maybe
because they're like,
actually.
Because men love Harry Potter, and then they're like, you know what? I don't want to be a virgin forever. I got to move away from this. I got to go watch Love the
There's nothing
Avengers.
wrong with loving Harry Potter. It's just an observation I made. Like, it's just like, women tend to like it more. I don't know what it is about it. There's just some differences there. You know what I mean? So, but it's kind of like, true crime shows, right? Like women love true crime and men do too. But, it's, it tends to be like
a study
more...
though. I heard that literally on the news today on the way home.
Right.
That apparently like true crime has a bigger female audience. Like
it does. And
like
I don't know why. It's interesting though.
Yeah, because they're like, I want to.
They're all thinking about killing their husbands, and they're trying to figure out how to get away with it.
Dude. How do you get away with it? Exactly.
No, I think it's like that
another freaking hot toy. Oh,
you know what I mean? Like us guys, like we love the fantasy and the the orcs and Thanos and fucking shit like that. Yeah, but like grounded things are nice too. So
anyway. We don't like Harry Potter.
Yeah. No, but there are guys
for yourself, bro.
I like Harry Potter after the third movie. Like,
I like Harry Potter. I don't dislike Harry Potter. I still love Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
I had a Harry Potter wand once.
What'd you do with it? Did you miss?
Well, it didn't work.
It didn't work. You returned
didn't vibrate enough or what?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did after the show.
All right, we're going to end it then. Guys, peace out. Hopefully we don't get in trouble with that one. Bye. See you next time. Bye.